Hey everybody, welcome to What the Flick. I'm Matt, that's Kim, that's Jackie, and that's Jason. We are here with the actual penultimate episode.
Finally.
Of Star Trek Discovery.
No more teasing me.
Sorry for that fake out.
This is the war without, the war within. We get one more episode left. Stuff goes down. What did we think? More exciting than the Super Bowl?
I didn't watch it till this morning.
Than last week.
Yeah. I want to start by saying though, Jackie, we got to hand it to Jackie for all your predictions that have come to fruition.
I know.
Because we were looking at you sideways last season, like, shut up, drink your coffee.
You're out of your mind.
Yeah.
Your chips.
I am not gonna lie. I think it's a beautiful thing when my stuff comes together. Burnham and Tyler. I knew we were going back to my other relationship, and I'm so glad we did in this episode. So
I really don't care about their relationship though. Which is, thank you. Which is like if he got dumped and I was like, yeah, he deserves it. He was borderline gaslighting her. And if he disappeared off the ship, I also wouldn't care. I'm sorry.
They had to wrap that up in a
I care about her though.
Go ahead.
Let's start with we're bearing the lead. Sarek is back. Like this made me, that was the highlight of this episode for me, was Sarek coming back. And I forgot how much I missed him and how much I love, is it James, what is his name?
James Frayne.
James Frayne as Sarek. I really like him as Sarek. I forgot how much I liked him.
And you know, there's a moment where between him and Michael, between Sarek and Michael, where they say goodbye and Michael says, that sounds like the last time. And I immediately thought, well, we know Sarek doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Like we know he's not going anywhere. He's in 2 or 3 more episodes and shows and movies. So
we saw the return of Jane Brooke too, the Admiral who we thought was killed. I call her Jane Brooke, or the girl from Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Personnel.
Admiral Cornwell.
Oh my God.
Cornwell, yeah, that's who she is. Every time I think of her, I think
and David Duchovny, right?
No, Josh Charles.
Josh Charles, that's who it is. Okay.
But yeah, it was good to see her back. I think back to the Ash and Tyler, the Ash, Tyler, and Michael story. I think, like I said, they had to tie that up in a bow. And I didn't feel the chemistry. There was no fireworks with them at all. But I'm glad. I love the compassion that Tilly and the other people were showing him, as well as Saru, after the fact. Because yeah, he did some pretty heinous things, but they're still realizing that it wasn't his fault. I guess he's still a victim.
I read it more as that was their credo: was they need to show people kindness if they want to have a kind world.
I agree that yes, but in contrast to how they were to Michael Burnham when she was a mutineer, do you think that they gave her more of a
That's what I didn't like, and I was just about to say, and also, can we have another plot device besides the first day of school with the cafeteria tray to illustrate isolation?
I literally said, you can't sit with us as soon as he walked in.
Seriously, at this point.
Right, so we went and sat with the Heathers.
Yeah, exactly. Like at this point, there's gotta be a better way to illustrate that isolation. But moving back to, that's what made me angry, is we didn't give Michael the same respect that we're now giving a modified, like, Frankenstein Klingon.
A borderline terrorist.
Borderline terrorist who killed way more people.
And Colbert.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like a beloved crew member.
Right.
And granted, I know that there's like the Frank, like, you know, it wasn't him, and I get that. But the narrow-mindedness that they showed Michael.
Yeah, that's a
in
good
contrast,
point.
right? Was like, okay, well, you know, fine. You know, sexist much on the Federation, you know.
Yeah.
See, I'm a little worried they've written themselves into a corner here, because there's no good reason for anyone to ever trust Ash Tyler ever again, right? Because anytime he betrays somebody, it's gonna be like, of course he did, of course. Well, Jake would say.
But
we all know he's.
Do you think he makes it past the season though?
Like they said, he'll never fly again. He'll never have any kind of command.
Yeah, I don't think he's making it past the season. I think his whole arc was to have a heroic moment at the end to make Burnham look good.
Either that or they'll bring him in from the mirror universe.
What bothers me about this is it makes the whole Vogue plot pretty pointless.
Exactly.
It was pointless to begin with.
Like, why do this?
Right.
Sorry.
Why do any of this?
Exactly. Yeah, they know that he's like. Inhabited with the essence of Vogue, but that's it. Like, fine, well, I guess we'll just accept that. How you doing? You want some chips? You know, like. Seriously, it is pointless.
I feel like the very end of the season is starting to fall apart a little bit.
No.
Because this is what's gonna happen. I watched. Look, this is what's gonna happen.
That's
a solid argument.
No, don't say that, because we had, like, that's really schizophrenic, Matt. We had some good episodes.
We did. No, I'm saying we had great episodes, and then I'm worried that the last couple, they're faltering.
I think they're trying to stretch out more than what they should. This was a 12-episode arc, and they are pushing it to 14.
No, I love the last few episodes. I mean, like, based on what we've had, it's like, oh, this is like those first few.
And I think what's gonna happen is they're leading up to this surprise at the end, twisty whatever, to pull through to get us to the next season. And I don't think the payoff is gonna be as good as they assume it's going to be, which happens a lot in sci-fi. That happens a lot where they always like drag out the I mean, I can think of like 4 sci-fi shows. Magicians did this.
Yeah,
I just watched Altered Carbon,
No,
they did this.
And bringing back fake Captain Philippa, like,
whose best line in the episode was, "Sorry, daughter, who's not really my daughter." Did you guys hear that?
Yeah.
It's so stupid, but I laughed and chuckled on the way over here because I was like, she would say that. What are they gonna do with her?
She has to die too.
She has to die too. There's a lot of people.
They can't
that are
keep
there
her.
to
She's
die.
too crazy.
Yeah, and like,
or maybe let's say not crazy, fierce.
She's too
like
violent.
Too right.
does anybody think somebody is running the Klingons right now? Like somebody from the Mirrorverse
Oh my God.
is running the Klingons?
Maybe.
Again, wild theories.
Matt,
but
yes. Why do you
You know what I mean?
think?
That would be amazing.
But just like this whole idea of them becoming so unstable, but now they had this specific moment where they're calling out this one particular Klingon group that has, marked a starbase, and you know what I mean? Like it could
maybe.
be. I'm just saying, the instability among the Klingons seems to be something that they're building towards. So if there's a final reveal to show somebody from the mirror universe sort of pulling the strings behind all that, I would not be surprised.
That's interesting because she was arguing, oh, they're all fractured and they're all trying to do their own thing, and it's great for the Klingons as a whole, but also not as a group.
Exactly.
Well, and this is starting to get into things from other series because they've already talked about, we're gonna be the first people on Kronos since Captain Archer and his crew 100 years ago, which means that they've already now, by acknowledging that, they're establishing that there's this group of Klingons that has had their DNA messed with that look human, right? That explain the way they look in the original series.
Yes.
So that's gonna get brought up again. And then it'll be like every time some vaguely Arabic looking person shows up in Starfleet, it'll be like,
oh great,
oh look, a Klingon, right? Like, oh, it turns out they're bad, like because that's the way they cast in the old show, that's the way it was looking before. Like
they can't do that in this era.
Or does Tyler become the Martin Luther King of the Klingons?
What?
What?
Look, like think about it this way.
And then
He's a
he
Klingon.
sells
He's
Dodge
a Klingon.
Rams.
Like how he's gonna lead? No.
That was a messed up commercial.
Look, that was such a messed up commercial. Think about it this way. We don't know where Tyler's gonna go, but he's obviously got to leave Starfleet. So logically, maybe he could be that bridge. This is what we talked about earlier in the season.
Would the Klingons accept him?
Well, that's the point, is if he does something heroic to make himself be accepted, maybe they do.
Did you guys like the exchange between L'Rell and the Admiral?
Just like, I don't like you, but I get you.
I can't with the Klingons anymore. I don't see their point.
I said that last week and people were really mad at me in the comment section because how dare I denounce the Klingons, but they're boring as hell, people. I'm sorry.
These Klingons.
Right. Well, I'm only talking in the context of the show we're watching. All right, but so no, for real, I have to that disclaimer because you guys come for me. It's like say something bad about Beyonce. Yeah, but I thought I like those moments. I thought so. The show this week we had been celebrating and shouting from the rooftops how much better the writing got, and I thought this was not a bad episode for it being the penultimate. I did like their idea of infiltrating the planet from the inside out.
Yeah, maybe Game of Thrones spoiled me to like the 9th episode is always like the best,
crazy one,
you know, like, and I was honestly expecting some big fireworks. Maybe they're saving it for the end, but it wasn't a bad episode. It was just like, again, we've had better meals at this point, and we were on an upward trajectory.
Sorry, one other thing that kind of
okay
was the exchange between Ash and Stamets. Because that was the first time they had actually had a interaction since Colbert's neck snapping and Stamets being back from the brink. And I thought for all the beauty that went into that scene in the mirror universe, I thought they could have at least given some more intensity to that exchange between those two, because you're staring and having a conversation with a person who murdered the love of your life.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
I'll feel bad for her. Good.
Yeah, like that was a little, it didn't have near the gravitas that it should. Regardless of whether you really felt you were confronting your husband's killer, it's still the body that did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still don't trust Ash. I think he's still a Klingon. I don't trust him. I think he's still evil.
Yeah.
I think he's faking it. Yeah, but we'll find out next week.
He could.
I'm getting the.
I guess that would be
wrap it
more
up, so-
interesting than the other way.
Yeah.
And everybody hates Ash Tyler.
I don't
No,
care
I don't
about
hate
him.
him. I
It'd be
think
better if it was Ash Ketchum.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't hate him. I first think that he was terrible casting. Terrible casting. You have.
He wasn't their original pick, right? Like he was going to be something else originally.
No, they accidentally spoiled that he was a Klingon,
Got
and then
you.
they
Right.
backtracked and.
Got you.
Well, we'll figure it out. Maybe we'll get some clues next week. We gotta wrap up, but we'll be back next week with the ultimate episode, the post-penultimate episode of Star Trek Discovery Season 1, Episode 15, the season finale. Until then, live a week and prosper.